So once again, I'm Jamie, and I'm here to talk to you about my imperfectly plastic-free or zero-waste life. It's plastic-free July, and we need more people doing zero waste imperfectly than we do need people who can do it perfectly. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about laundering with a little less waste. So over the past year, I have tried to find a couple of different solutions for doing my laundry. I started using just liquid Tide detergent and Downy dryer sheets. So that's what I used to use, and I've tried a couple of different things since then. So I'm going to talk about what I've tried, kind of the costs associated with it, and whether or not I liked it in terms of smell, cleanliness, etc. And then I actually have a couple of new things that I've purchased that I'll talk about, and a little bit later I'll do some laundry and let you know what I think of them. I started using big jugs of Tide detergent, not environmentally friendly at all, but it was relatively inexpensive. I'd buy the big jugs that had like 96 loads, and it was almost $18, about 18 cents a load. The first thing I did when I decided to try to reduce my waste in the laundry room was I started purchasing some bulk liquid laundry detergent from my local co-op. I actually upcycled the pour spout of my Tide detergent, and I fit it into the ring on a mason jar so I'd have a nice pour spout. And I went to my local co-op and I bought a kind of detergent called Sun and Earth. It was about $2 a pound, which meant that this jar is about $9. So when I figured that out, it was about 58 cents a load of laundry, which for me is a little pricey. I'm a fairly frugal person, and largely that's out of necessity. So that wasn't really going to work for me in that method. So the next thing I did is I tried just buying some laundry soap in a powder form. I just went for the cheapest. It was an Arm & Hammer powder detergent. I think this whole thing cost $12.50 approximately from maybe Target. And it says it's 155 loads. So that I found being really economical, just like 8 cents per load. It works reasonably well. I feel like my clothes were clean. They smelled all right. It comes in, it's cardboard, which is inevitably more recyclable than, or more environmentally friendly, I would say, than plastic. Or it has some sort of plasticky lining on the outside. I looked pretty hard to try to find one that didn't, and it was kind of hard. So I'm not sure how that affects the recyclability of this detergent. I think it's still probably better than going with Tide, but I don't know how much. I have purchased a powder detergent from a different co-op. It is BioPak Ultra Powder Detergent. So this is entirely biodegradable. I actually got a full jar of this, and it was like $4.50, or pretty close to a full jar. So I figured it out that this would be about 26 cents a load. Now I haven't tried this yet. The reason it's not full is because I actually started pouring it into this cardboard container. I just thought it might be easier to scoop it out and use the same scoop that came in here, because it came with a plastic measuring scoop. So I'm just going to use the same one rather than getting a new one. So I'm going to try this today, and I will let you know when I'm done what I think of it. I also recently purchased something called soap nuts. Now, I've never tried soap nuts or soap berries before, so we'll try this a little bit later, and we'll compare the 2 loads of laundry, see which one I like better in terms of scent, if it seems clean to me, etc. Now, they had a big package of it, but since I only want to try it and see if I like it, I just got this little individual one. It was $2, and it came with 5 berries in it. Unfortunately, it did come in a little plastic bag. It's a little disappointing when I saw that. I'm not sure if the big bag comes with a plastic lining or not, or if it just comes loose. If I like it, I will then find out. Now this, because it was $2, comes with 5 soap nuts. It says that you put 5 in, so this is just 1 load. But it supposedly will last about 5 loads, which would equal out to, so like 40 cents a load. So this is kind of pricey doing it this way too. However, the big bag that that they sell. I figured that out, and it'd be like 10 cents a load, I think, to do it that way if I ended up doing it. So that would be almost on par with the Arm & Hammer powder detergent. So if I like it, then that will be a pretty affordable way of doing it. So I will try that today, and I will let you know what I think. I do also want to mention one other change that I've made pretty early on that I really, really like. Instead of using dryer sheets, I started getting wool dryer balls. I actually have a third one. I have to go find it, not sure where it is. These I've had for, I don't know, at least 8-10 months now maybe. They're in really good shape. I imagine that they're going to last me a really long time. They cost me $10 for 3. You throw all 3 of them in the dryer, and it works like a dryer sheet. It supposedly helps to reduce drying time. It helps to reduce static cling, etc. And I really like it. I don't miss dryer sheets at all. So for the 3-pack, it was about $10. I figured out that, so I used to buy Downy dryer sheets that were, you get 200 dryer sheets in a package. So, and it was $8, so it does last a long time. It only wound up being like 8 cents per load or something like that. But in the long run, the $10 I spent here is going to last me way more than those 200 dryer sheets would. Already, I think I've probably used them at least 120 times. I was kind of just doing a brief estimate of how many loads of laundry I do a week. So, and they're going to last me for probably many more years. So definitely a cheaper option here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go get my laundry, and we're going to do a load and see what I think of our new laundry options. Okay, so I went ahead and loaded the laundry machine with my laundry. I took the soap nuts out of the plastic bag, and I tied the top here so they don't fall out of this bag. And I am just going to toss them in the washer and let it get started. Okay, so the laundry's done. You can see that I already have added the dryer balls to the dryer. I can say that the clothes so far, they seem to smell okay at least. So as I was throwing stuff in the dryer, I made sure to find the bag of soap nuts. And I'm not going to throw these in the dryer. But they look pretty much like they did to start. They feel maybe a little squishy, a little sticky. But most of it's still there. Okay, so I am going to wash another load of clothes, this time with the powdered detergent from BioPack. So when I use a powder detergent, I like to get a little bit of water in the washer first, just so that the powder doesn't kind of get stuck to your clothes. Now, the directions for the BioPack liquid say that for top-loading washers, you use about 1/4 cup. In addition to adding water to the washer, I like to try to dissolve it a little bit before I throw it in there by putting it in some warm water. And I just kind of shake it a little bit. And this is just, again, so that I don't get that powdery residue on my clothes or on my laundry that I feel that you can get from using a powder detergent. Alright, so I am going to let this finish washing. Alright, everything's finally dry. Time to see what we think of everything. So the first thing I do is I try to take out my wool balls so that they don't get lost in my clothing. Ooh, one thing I almost forgot to mention. One of the most obvious ways to be less wasteful when you're doing your laundry is to hang dry your clothes. I was using a dryer and dryer balls for this. It gets pretty cold in here in the winter, so you would have to do it indoors on like a rack or something to save energy. So you would need to get one of those. Or if you have a line outside during the summer, that would be a great way to save some energy, save some resources, be a little bit less wasteful. I need to get better about doing that. So as I said, imperfect. Zero waste sled, definitely not perfect yet. I'm still a work in progress. I think that there are a couple of things that I would be happy line drying, and then there's some other things that I'm not sure I would ever be happy with, like jeans. They just get really stiff when you line dry them. I'm not sure that I could do that, but what I might be able to do is line dry them for most of their drying time and then throw them in the dryer for like maybe 10 minutes. And that would help so that your clothes don't need to be ironed as long as you take them out and fold them right away, and it would kind of get rid of that stiffness, I think. So for things like towels and jeans, I might need to use that. But for other things, shirts and fabrics, I think you'd be just fine line drying. I don't think you'd even ever notice a difference. So one more thing that you could do and I should do, but I'm not really there yet. So my final thoughts. Fortunately, I didn't get to finish my laundry last night. I fell asleep, so I finished folding and putting it away today. I did at least manage to put it in the dryer last night. I had actually previously washed this blanket and the other one, and I left it in the washer overnight and I fell asleep. So please don't do that. You end up wasting extra water, extra detergent, extra energy. So unfortunately I did that and it smelled pretty bad, so I had to re-wash it. But that means it got a really good test in terms of what I think of the smell of the powder detergent, since that's what I used on this. And I have to say it really did the trick. The blankets that I washed smell so much better than they did. So I think I'm pretty happy with the powder detergent. We'll have to see what my husband thinks of it, because he tends to be a little pickier than I do, but pretty happy for so far. The soap nuts I used on some clothes, and they smell fine. They don't smell dirty. They don't really have a clean smell to them, I don't think. They just smell neutral. I have heard of people using some essential oils on the wool dryer balls to kind of give your clothing a fresh scent. I've never tried that. I've never thought it was necessary, but if that's something that you really like and you're using soap nuts, maybe you would want to do that. The other thing I will say about soap nuts is I think that you might need to do a better job of pre-treating stains and things like that if you're using soap nuts rather than another detergent. Granted, I know that there are some stain sticks and things that you can get pretty cheaply, package-free, etc., or at least low-waste packaging that might solve that problem. So I'm still going to look into some of those options. I did mention, you may have seen me using a rather unconventional basket to bring my clothes. These are actually plastic sleds. Los Reyes Magos, or the Three Kings, brought my husband and I, yes, they brought them to us for Three Kings Day. My husband has never been sledding since he moved here to the United States, and so we were going to go sledding this past winter. Unfortunately, we got sick and never got around to it. So we are using them for laundry baskets. So rather than buying something else, we're making do with something that we have. It kind of works. One other thing that I will mention that you may want to consider is one of these guys. So I have a dog. That means that inevitably we get pet fur on things and lint. I used to always have to use a lint roller, plastic handle, plastic disposable sheets. So recently I got a reusable lint brush, and I'm pretty happy with it. So you pretty much, it's got an arrow on it, shows you which way you need to brush, and it just took this piece of hair. You probably can't see it, but it did. It took off some hair. You just brush like that, and it does a pretty good job. And then you would brush the other way to try to ball it up and clean off the lint brush. So far, I've only had this lint brush for a couple of weeks. It was $4 or $5. So honestly, that's going to be a huge savings over having to replace these plastic sheets all the time. Hopefully it lasts me for a good while. I wish that I could find one with like a wooden handle. You might actually be able to make something like this if you know what kind of fabric this is. And just staple it onto a wooden handle. I think that would work pretty well, but I've never seen anybody do it, don't know. It's just a theory. So, I think that's it. Maybe I'll do another one. I don't know, we'll see. Bye.